Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, April 11th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, going for that glory, Jeremy Pierce. Welcome, one and all. You know you can check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course, the 215 on Twitter. And today's show, well, Dynasty AEW's pay-per-view is going down tomorrow night. Looks like a good show. We'll see what's going on with this quote-unquote B-tier pay-per-view, but for now, you know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. AEW Dynasty, like we said earlier, is going down tomorrow night. It's taking place at the Rogers Arena in Vancouver, British Canada. I believe it's the third pay-per-view to take place in Canada for AEW. This is also the third Dynasty. But before we get into this year's show, you know we got to look at last year's show. And last year's show took place in the Philly hometown. I was in attendance with some friends. The show did it between 110 and 120,000 on the buy rate, and took place at the Leocourse Center with an attendance just under 8,000. So, how was the card? We had two matches on the pre-show. First, Nick Wayne and crew defeated AR Fox and Top Flight. Anthony Bowens made his long-awaited return to defeat Max Caster. Both of these matches took place on the 0 hour. Our opening contest was Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight in the first round of the Owen Hart Cup. Will Ospreay defeated Kevin Knight. The Hurt Syndicate were tag team champions to put those titles in line against the Learning Tree, with the Hurt Syndicate retaining. Mercedes Moné defeated Julia Hart in the women's first round Owen Hart Cup match. The Death Riders team of Claudio, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta defeated Raider FTR. This was for the Trios Championship, with the Death Riders retaining. Timeless Tony Storm defeated Megan Bayne to retain the Women's World Championship. Kyle Fletcher defeated Mark Briscoe in their Owen Hart match. This was kind of like the start of their feud that ran for many months. Bandito defeated Chris Jericho to become the Ring of Honor World Champion. This was a title versus mass match. This was probably the one match on the card that, one, didn't even need to be on the card, but two, it just ran too long. Adam Cole defeated Dan Garcia to become the new TNT champion. This match had no time limit, and outside interference was strictly prohibited. Kenny Omega took on Ricochet and Speedball Mike Bailey. He had put the International Championship on the line, and Kenny Omega retained. And in the main event, Moxley defeated Swerve Strickland to retain the AEW World Championship. I remember this match was a little underwhelming. Something else happened after the match. I can't remember, but we were really in the dark depths of the Death Riders story. So let's get to 2026, ladies and gentlemen. And we have 9 matches scheduled, with one taking place on the pre-show. I'm sure after Collision tonight, Tony Khan will announce at least maybe 2 more matches. If let's see, last year's show had 12 matches. We only have 9. Maybe he won't announce any more matches. Probably at least one on the pre-show. There's only 2 women matches, with one take place on the pre-show, but we shall see. So on the pre-show, we have Alex Windsor versus Marina Shafir. This essentially stems from Alex Windsor is Will Ospreay's fiance, I believe, and Marina Shafir is a part of the Death Riders, and the Death Riders are feuding with Ospreay right now. I mean, that's essentially why we have this match. She and Alex Windsor has her boyfriend's back, and that's what we're going to get. We're going to get this match, Alex Windsor versus Marina Shafir. This is a match I could very much see going either way with the winner, and I think I think Marina's going to win this match. She needs a W. She lost to Tony at the pay-per-view. She lost to Mina Shirakawa on TV. I just think Marina needs a W to kind of, keep that mystique and that aura of her toughness alive. So take Marina Shafir to win here. On to the main card. Like I said before, also that if Tony Khan announces any more matches, we will cover those on YouTube later in the day on Saturday and Sunday with some shorts or something like that. But our first match, we have FTR putting the AEW Men's World Tag Team Championship on the line against Cope and Cage, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. And we don't really need to hash out anything after this. FTR turned on Copeland, and they were tired of being in the shadow. They said that he was using them for his own gain, for his own advantage, and they turned on him. They took him out. They took out his wife and Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix. So Cope has some skin in his game. Christian is only here out of convenience because he wants to make money. And even though him and Cope are, best friends, to go way back, like Christian said, this is a partnership out of convenience, not because I want to actually team up with you. And Cage was also taken out by FTR. This will be a fine match. The question is, do you want to take the championship off of FTR and put them on Cope and Cage here in Canada? When did FTR win in these tag team titles? They became champions. Let me see. They became champions in August. Wow. They've held the title since Forbidden Door. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so you know what? No, I'm sorry. That's wrong. I'm sorry. That's completely wrong. They won the titles at Full Gear. I was there for that show. My bad. They won the titles at Full Gear. So that was back in November, and we're here in April. So that's a good 4-5 month reign. It's not bad. I mean, they are tied with the Young Bucks for the most reigns. It's so funny. They both have 3 reigns apiece, and every other team only has 1 reign. So I think you can go with FTR losing here. I think Cope and Cage are going to take the belts here, and we're going to build up to, we don't know when Forbidden Door is happening, but I think we can build up to All In. So I'm going to take Cope and Cage to win the championship here. Then we have Jon Moxley versus Will Ospreay. Ospreay is back for his pound of flesh. He was taken out by Moxley and the Death Riders. And it's so funny, right? Mox was essentially a good guy coming out of the Continental Classic, right? And winning the championship because he had to do it by himself. And even though the Death Riders had their beef with other people, Mox was still getting cheered. Well, not anymore. Now that Ospreay is back, Mox is back behind the 8 ball, but again, he has the Death Riders back. They have his back. They are loyal to him, right? So Mox is here. Ospreay is back from his neck injury. He was out for a good minute. And when this match first got announced, it actually wasn't for the championship. But now, with the title being on the line, with United Empire getting the W on Dynamite, right? I can see Mox retaining here. This has the Continental rules that there are no interference. Everyone's banned from ringside. And what's the other one? There is 20-minute time limit, right? Because usually in pay-per-views, title matches have a 1-hour time limit. But that will play into everything here. I like Ospreay wrestling coming back. I think this is his 2nd or 3rd match back from injury. But Mox has just been cooking since becoming Continental Champion. I like Mox to retain here just because I can see him. I don't see him losing this title anytime soon. Maybe up until All In. And Allin is different. So I feel like we have to wait for Double or Nothing to really see how we're going to move forward with Ospreay and Mox. But I like Mox to win here. He's just so tough, and he doesn't necessarily have to beat Ospreay. He just has to survive Ospreay because of, again, the 20-minute time limit. So I like Moxley to win here. Then we have a number one contenders match for the AEW World Championship, the Men's World Championship. Andrade versus Darby Allin, and everybody's coming for MJF. The thing with this match is Andrade doesn't want to do MJF's bidding. MJF has paid off the Don Callis family to take out his opponents, and prime number one is Darby Allin. This is a tough match to do, just because we have Double or Nothing coming back, and we're starting to see the hints of Takeshita and Andrade maybe leaving the Don Callis family. But with Kyle Fletcher's injury, someone's probably got to stay. Like, you need a big name in that faction. You're not going to get rid of both Fletcher and Takeshita while just keeping Okada there. So the thing is, what will sell you more on Double or Nothing? And if Darby wins this match, he gets a title shot. I don't know where that leaves Andrade. That is the stipulation for this match. Darby versus MJF, main event at Double or Nothing. I could see that. That will put some butts in the seats. I mean, I will be at Double or Nothing with the friends, you know what I mean? And I can really see Andrade being frustrated with having to do the dirty work for MJF. He's not a happy camper. I think I'm gonna go with Darby Allin to win this match. I like that. I like Darby Allin to win this match. Then we have we got the Women's World Championship. Thekla putting her championship on the line against Jamie Hayter, the other half of the Brawling Birds. So you know how I like to see these things, right? And I'm usually right about this, that if someone's pulling double duty or tag teams are split up, both members aren't going to win. So before we even get out of that, when Thekla first arrived, she had two main rivals, Queen Aminata and Jamie Hayter, and it was on site for both of them. Now, they fought each other, Aminata and Thekla. They had their feud, they finished that. But Thekla and Jamie also had their first match against each other. This took place at wasn't blood, it was what pay-per-view was that? It was a pay-per-view where they opened the show and Jamie won that match. I gotta see which show this was. It was Wrestle Dream. It was Wrestle Dream of last year, and they have the distinguished honor of being the first woman to ever open up a main pay-per-view match, even though the FTR versus Jet Speed Match bled into the opener. Jamie Hayter and Thekla are the first two to ever open up a pay-per-view for the women. So Jamie got that W. So if Jamie got that W there, things have changed. I like Thekla to win here. I like Thekla to retain. If I have Marina winning, right? Well, here's the thing. I have Marina winning. I also have Thekla winning. I have both of the Brawling Birds just taking out. They've been really, really on a roll since coming in, and I just got them both taking a quick L to be humble just a little bit, but take Thekla to retain the Women's Championship here. Then we have a Casino Gauntlet for the vacant TNT Championship. As you know, Kyle Fletcher is injured. He had to relinquish the championship. And we have a Casino Gauntlet. We know that Ciampa will be in the match. He defeated, I believe, Mascara Dorada on Dynamite to earn the number one spot. and Roosh will be taking on Anthony Bowens to get the number 2 spot. So for those of you that don't know, the Casino Gauntlet is essentially a gauntlet match where people keep coming into the ring until there is a winner. The match can end before all the participants enter the match, and that's why you want the 1 or 2 spot, because you both start the match at the same time. And Ciampa has won. He's already a former TNT champion in a short time here in AEW. We don't know the full participants of this match. I'm expecting Masker Dorada to be in there. I'm expecting Roosh to be in. I'm expecting Anthony Bowens to be in. I'm expecting maybe 2 or 3 other members of the Don Callis family to be in, and maybe a few other surprises. This one and stuff, just because since I don't know who the full participants are, I think I'm gonna just go with Ciampa to win. If that makes sense. I feel like that's the smart play here, that Ciampa will come out the winner on this match. He wants Sylvie back, but it should be a fun match. Then we have another arena match, and I think this match is only happening because of the injury to Kyle Fletcher, but the Young Bucks will be taking on Okada and Takeshita of the Don Callis family. But ladies and gentlemen, this might be your match of the night. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, looking at just the entire card, every match is great. Every match is going to be good. Every match is going to be good. It's rare that, AEW puts on bad matches on the reviews. I just think the Young Bucks are incapable of having a bad match, and they're going up against Takeshita and Okada. Like, oh my God. So the beef here is that, Takeshita used to be with the Bucks, used to be part of the Elite, dropped them for the Don Callis family, right? And again, the Bucks also used to be with Don Callis. So there's a whole bunch of history there, right? Then, ladies and gentlemen, you have the heat going on between Takeshita and Okada, and that one is heat. So Okada cheated to defeat Takeshita in the Continental Classic, and there's just been a lot of animosity between these two, with Okada usually being the aggressor, being the ones who taunt Takeshita. And I think that's ultimately the downfall here, because they will end up facing each other again. And Okada is the current TNT international champion. The Bucks are coming off of a loss to FTR. I think you use this to finally start moving towards Takeshita leaving the Don Callis family, and him and Okada having that very, very special, that very, very magical match. This is probably my favorite match of the entire evening. It's going to be so good. We're going to go with the Okada Takeshita split. Take the Young Bucks to get the W here. Maybe launch themselves back into the tag team division, or a tag team contest championship, or hell, continue going up against the Don Callis family. They got a bunch of members. Just for the record, the current members of the Don Callis family are Don Callis, Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, Trent Beretta, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Mark Davis, Josh Alexander, Rocky Romero, Hachiseto, Kazuchika Okada, Wardlow, Andrade, El Clone, Jake Doyle, and Voladar Jr. And they've got a couple people out with injury. That would be Takeshita, Brian Cage, Josh Alexander, Wardlow, and Jake Doyle. 5 of the members are all out with injury, but take the Bucks to win here. Then we've got the most random of random matches, ladies and gentlemen. That would be Chris Jericho making his long-awaited return after a year away. He's taking on Ricochet, and this match is very, very simple. Ricochet came in, stuck his nose in where it didn't belong, and now he just made the list. So Chris Jericho looks to be in great shape. As you all know, was away. There was rumor that he would be heading back to the WWE. He was, for all intents and purposes, close to being a free agent as there can get. He signed a new deal with AEW per Tony Khan. He's got his first match back. And this is probably the most predictable of all the matches on the card, because are you really going to have Chris Jericho lose his first match back? Yes, I think so. I think you can start a feud between Jericho and Ricochet and the man. Don't have this lean in Jericho being in another faction, the Learning Tree, the Inner Circle, the JAS. I'm probably missing something else. He needs to just roll solo. Ricochet's got to get a dub. Lost the national championship. Run his back at Double or Nothing. But give me Ricochet to get the W here. I'm probably wrong on this. I just need Ricochet to get a W here. And then lastly, ladies and gentlemen, the main event, maybe one day the woman will main event the pay-per-view. That's not Ring of Honor, but Maxwell Jacob Freeman will be putting the AEW World Championship, the Men's World Championship, on the line against Kenny Omega. This match is being billed as the Devil versus the God of professional wrestling. And for all this purpose, ladies and gentlemen, that is very much true. Kenny Omega has fought his way back to the top of the card. He has fought his way back to the championship. And we had like a nice little series of eliminator matches, people writing themselves off by facing each other. So all this involved Kenny Omega and Andrade and Swerve and Bandito and Brody King and Kevin Knight and Speedball. I'm probably missing maybe one other person. I guess you can throw Darby Allin here, and Andrade. I said Andrade. And they all started facing each other, and this ultimately ended with Kenny defeating Swerve to become the number one contender. And now MJF and Kenny are running it back. They had a really great match last time when MJF was champion. This was for MJF breaking Kenny Omega's record as the longest reigning men's world champion. MJF won that match, and now here we are. We got them running it back. This is a very, very intriguing match, because coming out of Dynasty, the next event will be Double or Nothing. And then after Double or Nothing, we have, I want to say we have All In. I think, no. I think Forbidden Door is after All In. So you have, 2 shows before you get to All In and All Out. How will this play out? So, like I said, I like Darby Allin to win his match and become the number one contender. It's rare that, we kind of get face versus face matches, but it happens, and it's great. We don't get heel versus heel in AEW. But MJF has had a really good reign. He won the title back at World's End in December. So not so long ago. That is little over 3 months that MJF is champion. So the real question is, do you give him a long reign? So his first reign lasted how many days? 406 days, right? And Kenny's got to become world champion again, right? Kenny's got to be world champion again at some point. And it's all a matter of, who do you want to see going into Double or Nothing as champion, and then who do you want to see going into All In as champion? And I think you can go with either man, because All In is taking place back in London again. Do you want to have Will Ospreay fight for the title? It's tough. Then that's the beauty I love about AEW, that you really can't predict where they're going to go with their world championships. Kenny's going to drag MJF to the deep waters, and MJF has shown that he can hang. He can very, very, very much hang. I am at a loss on who could potentially win this match, right? I'll be at Double or Nothing. I don't know who's going to be champion, and I don't know if it seems right to build up Kenny for all of this just to have him lose. Like, where do you transition him to? MJF can go forward anybody. That's the real beauty in this. But everything has been pointing to MJF facing multiple challengers, and he's shaking off all challenges, and now he's got the Don Callis family backing him up. This is tough. This is really, really tough. I think I'm going to go with MJF to win here. This is the decision that I'm not super confident in, but I like the result. I'm just not confident in the result. So take MJF to a win here. So one more time, ladies and gentlemen, AEW Dynasty is going down tomorrow night. Let's go over the matches and winners one more time on Zero. Like I said, also again, if and when, because he will announce more matches, we'll make those predictions for those. Check the YouTube shorts and the Instagram reels. They will be out there. So on the pre-show, we have Alex Windsor versus Marina Shafir. Take Marina Shafir to win this match. On the main card, we got FTR putting the World Tag Team Championship, the Men's World Tag Team Championship, on the line against Cope and Cage. I'm going to go with I think I said Cope and Cage. I think I'm going to go with Cope and Cage to win here. Moxley versus Ospreay with the Continental Championship on the line. I have this match going to a time limit draw. So essentially, Moxley comes out the still champion. I have Darby Allin defeating Andrade to become the number one contender to the Men's World Championship. I have Thekla defeating Jamie Hayter to retain the Women's World Championship. I got Ciampa winning the Casino Gauntlet to become the new TNT champion. I have the Young Bucks defeating Okada and Takeshita. I have Ricochet defeating Chris Jericho, and I have MJF defeating Kenny Omega to retain the Men's World Championship. But that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Look on the screen what we got coming up for the rest of the month. We got WrestleMania in about a week and a half coming. We'll see about that. But that is our show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course, the 215 on Twitter. I see you when I see you. And as always, Anna J, Willow Nottingham, Chris Statlander, Priscilla Kelly, Dawn and Bailey. Holla at your boy. Peace.